Hello everyone and welcome to my place on the internet, where I am your host, Peter aka the MuttonChopGuy, where I jump into the sprawling world of manga to talk about a very niche genre within it, known as Gei Komi. Okay, first things first, I just want to apologize to everyone that it took me so long to make this video because I had to move across the country because my husband got a new job. And if you want to know how that move went, well, yeah, that's pretty much the best way to describe it, and trust me, I don't want to bore you with all the details, but it was literally just like the clip showed you. It was just one thing after another. I'm surprised I'm even here. The second thing I do want to apologize on is that since I'm in my new place that I finally got into, you might hear a lot of traffic in the background. I'm going to try to stifle that as much as possible, but my new home is pretty close to a street, and as much as I am in a neighborhood, it seems to be kind of busy. Like, this is the main street that people drive down for some reason, so I'm sorry.
Welcome to my life.
And of course, one last thing, please stay tuned to the end of the video because I have a couple of big announcements. Just want to say that. Okay, so I got this lovely little one-shot manga that was recommended to me by one of my other Discord members. And if you haven't been a part of my Discord yet, please join the Discord. It's the best way you can interact with me. But this was one of the recommendations from one of those members, and I found this one interesting. However, one of the things that was kind of confusing is that this one's chained to other works within the author's works. So it was kind of weird to discover that, and I figured I would just cover this one because this one still sticks out as a standalone even though it's connected to the author's other works, and you'll see why. And what is it that I'm going to be covering? It is known as Boss and the Mysterious Medicine by, and I'm going to butcher this name as everyone knows I suck with names, Iwano.
Nailed it!
So, without any further ado, let's get right into things. The story begins with seeing a band of merry men congratulating each other over their plunder, which they got from a trafficker. What was the person trafficking? Don't know, but they were hoarding stuff, so they Robin Hooded it? For themselves, I guess? Wait, does that just make them thieves? Then we meet the leader of the group, Boss Vash. Don't know why I said it like that, but here we are. After seeing the loot his crew captured, Vash decides to head back to his base to drink. His crew gawks over him as he walks away, remarking on how amazing their boss is when one henchman, Elliot, needs to go to the bathroom. He goes to relieve himself as his crewmates mock him for his weak bladder. Whoa dude, not cool. Some people can't help it. Just wait until you get older and your prostate swells, dude.
Jeez, you don't have to be a dick about it.
So Elliot is alone to do his business when, surprise surprise, he gets captured. Alright, capture rescue plotline. Classic tee up. So Vash goes looking for Elliot when a note on an arrow appears. This leads to Vash telling his henchmen to go ahead with the group to their hideout, and heads to search for Elliot. Once the henchman has left, Vash calls out to his attackers to quit hiding, which they do. The next thing we see, he's chained up in the captor's lair. Wow, that was easy for them to do. Well, he was outnumbered, but there's also no signs of struggle or anything. Okay, I'm spending way too much time on this, so let's move on. What follows is what you typically see in one-shots within this genre. The bad guy starts to degrade his captives by calling them pigs, making them drink a specially made drink where it causes the drinker to grow in size, so body enlargement. Then we see Vash become aroused from the result of the potion drink, which his captor informs him that he placed an aphrodisiac in. Okay, why is it when bad guys make a potion or a drink or anything that they use on their enemies, they have that mixed into it? Are they trying to make the gay bomb a thing? You know they tried that, right?
It did not work.
Then add some kinky stuff like boofing, gorging, and forced boinking after forced drinking some more potion, and bam, you got your sex scene. Of course, like with any good leader, there's a line that gets crossed and the leader gets the power up they need to break free from their restraints and then fights to save his henchmen. Why can't more bosses be like that? Then more henchmen arrive to fight and recapture Vash. Don't worry though, Vash's other henchmen saved the day by finding their boss. How did they find him? One of them could smell him because he would sniff his underwear when he did Vash's laundry. Well, at least it's harmless. I know some people are going to argue with me on that, but they're entitled to hold their opinions. Just remember that opinions are not gospel, and to argue that is facetious.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, the crew defeats the enemy gang and makes them drink their supplies so they become too obese to do any harm. You may be wondering, why did the bad guys go after Vash and his henchmen? Because Vash called the other boss a pig and such, so he wanted payback for it, and ended up becoming more of what he hated being called? Was it justified? You be the judge on that. The crew returns back to their hideout and begin feasting and drinking while Vash sits in his torn clothes as he outgrew all of his other clothes, to which his crews are totally fine with, as they basically fondle him with their eyes.
You're practically blowing him with your eyes.
Yeah, bad joke. So Vash asks where Elliot is, to which his crew tells him that he went to bed after the day he had. Vash remarks on how he also had a rough day, highlighting that his gut became bloated, while his crew praises and marvels at his newly gained size, saying that it's a dignifying look for him. Then things start to escalate with each hand checking out a part of Vash's body, which then triggers a new encounter. Vash's arousal. He figures that he's still under the effect of the aphrodisiac and offers his crew a reward of, well, you can put it together, like, come on. I will say that this is a pretty long sequence with some interesting banter between Vash and his crew, while also getting some good tasteful body anatomy that I can't show on YouTube or I lose my channel again. But let's just say, it's pretty tasteful.
Oh my god, yes, that is tasteful!
Afterwards, Vash decides to go take a bath, for obvious reasons. When he discovers Elliot cleaning, we learn that Elliot is distressed from causing all the trouble of today, even though he had been captured by someone who had a grudge with his boss and not him. But Vash, being the boss that he is, makes Elliot join him in the bathhouse so they can clean themselves up. In the bath, Vash consoles Elliot about what happened, which Elliot keeps blaming himself over. Vash then teases Elliot when he doesn't immediately cheer up. And we get another quick scene after discovering that Elliot is still under the same effects of the aphrodisiac. Vash finishes his little lecture in the bath with some anecdotes about growth, which motivates Elliot to just be like his boss. Then we get a cute little scene where Elliot gets a kiss from his boss and he blushes, among other things. And then the story pretty much ends with the crew convincing him to keep the wait for a bit longer. I totally get it, guys, I totally get it. Now there is a sequel to this one, called Boss and a Secret Request, where we get more backstory of some of the other henchmen. In this case, the two brothers of Jeffrey and Russell. This being something that ties in some of the author's other work, which yes, I will cover in a later video, so stay tuned for that. But it basically is a story where Vash gets a call for a job from an old friend. Goes out to hunt, gets caught in a storm, has some play with Jeffrey and Russell, returns to the base, gets what he needs to complete his job, and drops off the package to his old friend before returning back to his base again. I will say that there are some touching moments in this one, but I should move on as that ties into our next part. This is an interesting recommendation as I didn't really expect much from a small one-shot, but when you tie the sequel part, it's actually really nice. Granted, I did say in the last segment that this is a part of a bigger story by the same author, so it does feel like there's some missing context, but I don't really think that matters here. So the story is what one would expect from a doujin like this, where the plot is really simplistic. Not saying that's a bad thing, it's just very typical. and lets the author set up their steamy scene with whatever kink happens to be their fancy, or wanted to explore, because some author likes to do their exploration in their creative works, which seems to be more healthy while being more productive on honing their skills in art than what I've seen in the dark corners of the internet. The world is a scary place sometimes, just saying. I will say that people should read doujins like this if you're someone who likes to practice storytelling, as they do help see what can work and give you ideas on how people come up with their plot points, even if it comes off as episodic. The characters who do get airtime are also interesting, especially when you add in the sequel. Vash is a caring, passionate, and charismatic leader who will do anything for his crew. Literally anything. There is a part in the sequel that shows how Vash and his friend define what it means to have a family, Vash having his crew and the demon friend having his spouse. And it's actually nice to see how the concept is taken from different points of view. It's a shame that most doujins don't get enough love for it to be expanded upon, but that's the nature of the market, like the manga market. Last thing I would like to touch on is the steamy scenes. While most people will let these dominate the whole story in one shots, but this author kept it rather tamed. Sure, you got some kinky scenes like body enlargement and tickling body parts, but it didn't go off the rails. And I can't help but appreciate that. Yeah, I know, I haven't covered anything hardcore in a fat minute, but when you read a lot like I do, you see things. A lot of things. Some things I never thought I would see. But that's why you come here, to see what my takeaways are. Please like and subscribe. Please do, I need all the free help I can get.
Gosh, I'm nervous. Please enroll in our school, please, please.
The art is pretty good. It leans more on the light end of the design compared to other artists within the genre do, but that's fine. There's something to be said that the less realistic you go, the more stylized you get to be. I think it really depends on what kind of story you want to tell, whether it's a witty comedy or a gritty tragedy. Your art style can make or break it if you don't get it to line up properly. In this case, I feel like the lighter stylings works a lot better with this story. The other thing I never got any context on is what type of animals all of these characters are. Are they dogs? Wolves? Foxes? I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't really add anything, but sometimes I have issue identifying them in works like manga or things like visual novels. I know it's a me problem, and I will work on it. Overall, this is a sweet little one-shot that doesn't break new grounds in terms of storytelling, but has some interesting characters that hopefully the author takes more time to flesh them out, along with showing how the other works within their universe are connected. You know, besides the demon guy and Vash being old friends. We also get some backstory on a couple of the henchmen in Vash's crew, but didn't really add to the rest of the cast of the characters. But I hope we get more things fleshed out on each of them. I would like to see something culminate between these characters so there is an overarching story for us to follow, but who knows if we ever get that. Besides the author, right? Right? Okay, I'll see myself out. And that is pretty much all for my video. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's been a while since I covered anything furry on this channel, and I know I have a good amount of a furry audience within my audience. So shout out to you guys. The community makes some interesting things. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it really weird, but I'm not knocking it. It is just what it is, and I can't help but give proper respect to the community because they work hard on their craft. That's all I can say about that, you know. But yes, that is pretty much all for my video. One of the announcements I want to point out is, holy crap, we finally did it. We made it to 1,000 subscribers and continuing to count. I'm honestly surprised that I made it to this point, and I know a lot of people will say, well, you should have expected that. I did somewhat in a dream, as in something I never really expected to happen, and since now we're here, what do I do? Actually, no, I do have an idea for what I want to do for my 1,000 subscriber special, so that will be in the works But if you like what I did here, please do not hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It does help me out a whole lot, and it's absolutely for free. It is no cost to you whatsoever besides you clicking a couple of buttons, and that's at least the best that I can ask of you. But if you also want to help me out in other ways, you do have the wonderful opportunity to donate to my Ko-Fi, which you'll find the link down in the description below. You can donate as literally $1. It's totally fine, but you know, take care of yourself first before you start donating to me. So, and of course, if you want to keep in contact with me, please follow me on my various social medias. But the best place to interact with me will be on my Discord server. Please join the Discord. It's linked in the description down below. Please do so. It is a fun place. We do a lot of fun things there. We have a lot of lovely discussions. We keep things very civil, and we try to stay as focused as much as possible on the subject matters at hand. Usually when it comes to art or manga and video games that have big beefy dudes in it, because you know, I saw Tears of the Kingdom promo stuff, and I saw what Ganondorf looked like, and yeah, can't help but look. Also, go check out my video on my second channel. I put in a lot of work. I thought it was pretty good. You let me know, you know, yeah. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for returning. Certainly hope to see you guys in my next video, and I definitely would love to hear back from any of you if you have any recommendations within the Bara, Gei Komi, or Men's Love Tag categories. Other than that, I'll definitely see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.